Prepare to journey back in time to an era shrouded in mystery, where the very foundations of monotheism were far from settled. In this hour-long special, we'll unearth the story of Asherah, the elusive yet persistent goddess who captured the hearts of the ancient Israelites for over 6 centuries. We'll explore: who was Asherah in the Canaanite pantheon? How did her worship intertwine with early Israelite religion? Why did she persist in the Israelite and Judean kingdoms, even in the very Temple of Jerusalem? And what do recent archaeological discoveries reveal about her undeniable link to Yahweh? Our story begins after the Israelite tribes arrived in Canaan. For roughly 6 centuries, until Jerusalem's fall in 586 BCE, the worship of Asherah and other Canaanite gods was widespread. The notion of Yahweh as the only God was a prophetic demand, not a universal practice. This presents our first challenge: the inadequacy of sources. The primary literary sources are the biblical texts. While based on ancient traditions, they underwent significant revisions, especially when it came to non-monotheistic practices. References deemed offensive were softened, shortened, or even entirely removed. Imagine trying to reconstruct a complex tapestry when half the threads have been deliberately pulled out. Archaeological evidence, while free from such biases, is equally frustrating due to its scarcity. Temples and altars rarely provide clear identification of the deity worshipped. Small clay figurines, mostly nude women, are abundant, but were they for Israelite or Canaanite worship? This historical detective work requires piecing together fragments from various sources.
Our sources, where we find Asherah. Despite these challenges, we can reconstruct Asherah's story using 4 key categories of evidence. The Bible itself. Even with its monotheistic agenda, it contains accidental glimpses into popular religion and royal rituals that zealous Yahwists tried to suppress. Local archaeological evidence. Limited, yes, but constantly growing with new discoveries in Israel. Extensive Canaanite, Syrian, Mesopotamian, Iranian, Anatolian, and Egyptian archaeology and mythology. These sources provide detailed insights into the deities the Israelites worshipped. Post-biblical Jewish literary sources. These texts, being less sacred, escape the same rigorous censorship, preserving references to early Israelite polytheism. Narrator. By cross-referencing these diverse sources, we can begin to paint a more complete picture of Asherah. Asherah in Canaan, the great mother goddess. Before she became intertwined with Israelite religion, Asherah was a major player in the Canaanite pantheon. We know this primarily from the rich mythical material discovered at Ugarit, modern-day Ras Shamra, dating back to the 14th century BCE. In Ugarithic mythology, Asherah was the chief goddess, the wife of El, the supreme god. Her full name was Lady Asherah of the Sea, indicating her dominion over the waters, just as El ruled the heavens. She was simply called Elat, or goddess. But her most profound title was progenitress of the gods. All 70 other deities, including Baal and Anath, were her children. She was the ultimate mother goddess, serving as a wet nurse even to human princesses, and seemingly predicting the fates of her devotees through sorcerers of Asherah. Evidence suggests Asherah held a chief mother goddess position even centuries before Ugarit, appearing as Ashratum, the bride of Anu, in Sumerian inscriptions around 1750 BCE. She was also associated with specific cities as Asherah of Tyre or Elat of Sidon. This explains why the Bible sometimes refers to the Asherahs, signifying the local manifestations of this great goddess. This concept of localized divine manifestations isn't all that different from, say, Our Lady of Fatima or Our Lady of Guadalupe in later traditions. The Israelite Asherah, from community to household. It was almost inevitable that the cult of this powerful Canaanite mother goddess would penetrate Israelite religion. Soon after the conquest of Canaan, amidst intermarriage between Israelites and Canaanites, the children of Israel served the Baals and the Asherahs. So what did the Israelite Asherah look like? Biblical references suggest she was represented by carved wooden images implanted in the ground, often next to altars dedicated to Baal. Imagine a wooden pole or statue becoming a focal point for communal worship. We see this clearly in the story of Gideon from the book of Judges. In the 12th century BCE, the worship of Asherah was a public affair, with the goddess's image belonging to the city's leader, who was also a priest of Asherah and Baal. When Gideon, an early Yahwist reformer, dared to cut down the Asherah, the entire city demanded his death. This illustrates the deep-seated nature of her worship. While wooden artifacts rarely survive Palestine's wet climate, we have abundant archaeological evidence of Asherah as a domestic goddess. Hundreds of small clay figurines of nude women, dating from all periods of Israelite history, have been found. Many depict a woman with prominent breasts, her body a straight cylindrical column with a flaring base. These were likely miniature versions of the larger wooden Asherah poles used for personal religious practice. The sheer number of these female figurines, unmatched by male deities, points to Asherah's immense popularity across all segments of Israelite society. Why? She was believed to promote fertility in women and ease childbirth. An ancient Hebrew incantation text from the 7th century BCE even invokes Asherah's help for a woman in labor. This suggests Asherah fulfilled a profound psychological need for a nurturing, life-giving deity. Asherah in the royal courts, Solomon, Ahab, and the stubborn goddess. Through Asherah's prominence in Jerusalem and Samaria. While Asherah was a staple of popular religion, it was King Solomon who introduced her worship into the very heart of Jerusalem. The construction of Solomon's temple itself, built with Phoenician assistance and according to regional architectural styles, facilitated a syncretistic cult. The chronicler laments Solomon's religious leanings, noting he built places of worship for many gods, including the goddess of the Sidonians, whom the historian identifies as Astarte, but who was undoubtedly Asherah. This confusion between Asherah and Astarte is prevalent in the Bible and even among scholars today. But in polytheistic cultures, deities often merged or were called by each other's names. It's clear, however, that Asherah's worship, already popular, entered the royal cult in Jerusalem through Solomon's foreign wives. In the northern kingdom of Israel, Asherah's influence only grew. King Ahab, under the sway of his Sidonian wife Jezebel, built an altar for Baal in Samaria and made an Asherah. The sheer scale of her presence is staggering. 400 prophets of Asherah ate at Jezebel's table. Yet here's a crucial detail. When the prophet Elijah challenged the prophets of Baal on Mount Carmel, leading to their dramatic defeat and slaughter, the 400 prophets of Asherah were present but not challenged. They escaped unharmed. Later, when Jehu massacred all the Baalists and destroyed Baal's temple, Asherah's statue in Samaria remained untouched. This suggests that Elijah, Jehu, and other zealous Yahwists viewed Baal as a dangerous rival, but Asherah
as a potentially complementary, inevitable, or at least tolerable female counterpart to Yahweh. Her worship persisted in Samaria until the Assyrian conquest in 722 BCE.
Asherah in Judah, a constant struggle. In the southern kingdom of Judah, Asherah's story is one of relentless back and forth. Her statue first entered the Jerusalem temple under Rehoboam, Solomon's son, influenced by his mother, Ma'akah, the queen mother. It remained for 35 years until King Asa, spurred by a prophet, removed it in the first religious reform of Judah. But this was a short-lived victory for Yahwism. Asherah returned under King Joash, staying for a century before King Hezekiah removed her again. Then, after just 27 years, King Manasseh, a notorious idolater, brought her back. The chronicler emphasizes that Manasseh made an Asherah as Ahab, king of Israel, had done, and explicitly placed her statue in the house of Yahweh. It's tempting to speculate that Manasseh believed he was restoring Asherah to her rightful ancient place as Yahweh's consort within the temple. The greatest Yahwist reformer, King Josiah, spurred by the discovery of the Book of Deuteronomy, launched a ruthless campaign to eradicate all idolatry, including Asherah. He removed all cultic vessels associated with Baal and Asherah from the temple, burned them, and then pulled Asherah's image itself from the temple, burning it to dust and scattering it over graves. He even destroyed the quarters of the male cult prostitutes in the temple, where women wove garments for Asherah. Yet even Josiah's fervent reforms couldn't completely uproot the tenacious worship of Asherah. After his death, her cult and that of Baal resurfaced. Jeremiah, active in the years leading up to Jerusalem's destruction, continually chastised the people for their worship of Baal and the altars and Asherahs of leafy trees and on high hills. The statistics are striking. Of the 370 years the Solomonic temple stood, Asherah's statue was present for no less than 236 years, almost 2/3 of the time. Her worship was often part of the legitimate, king-approved religion, challenged only by a few prophetic voices.
Ezekiel's image of jealousy, a contemporary witness. The prophet Ezekiel, in his vivid vision of Judah's sins, provides independent, near-contemporary evidence of Asherah's presence in the final years of the Jerusalem temple. Transported in a vision to Jerusalem, Ezekiel is shown the idol of jealousy, which provokes jealousy, standing near the north gate of the inner court, leading to the altar. While Ezekiel lists other abominations, the image of jealousy is portrayed as the least offensive in terms of action. It simply stood there, its very presence a sin. Biblical scholars widely agree this image of jealousy was the statue of Asherah, restored to the temple after Josiah's death. This confirms Asherah's enduring presence in the most sacred space of ancient Israel.
Conclusion: Asherah's legacy. For 6 centuries, from the conquest of Canaan to the Babylonian exile, Asherah, the elusive yet persistent goddess, held significant devotion among the Israelites. To the Yahwists, her worship was an abomination, a Canaanite import to be purged. Yet, we know little about the specifics of her cult, beyond women weaving houses or garments for her in the temple.
Regardless of her origins or specific rituals, there's no doubt about the profound psychological significance Asherah held. She fulfilled a need for a loving maternal consort to Yahweh Baal, a great mother goddess, the giver of fertility. Her enduring presence, despite the mounting pressure of Yahwistic monotheism, speaks volumes. It forces us to reconsider our understanding of early Israelite religion, not as a monolithic devotion to a single male deity from the outset, but as a complex, evolving landscape where the divine feminine played a powerful, undeniable role.
New discoveries, the inscriptional evidence. In the last decade, archaeological breakthroughs have brought even more compelling evidence to light. Inscriptions from Kuntalit Adrud in the Sinai, circa 800 BCE, and Hirbet el-Kom near Hebron, circa 8th century BCE, contain phrases like, "Blessed be name by Yahweh and his Asherah." These astonishing discoveries strongly suggest that in popular religion, Asherah was explicitly associated with Yahweh, very likely as his consort. Yahweh and his Asherah was a popular divine pair, challenging the long-held notion of a strictly monotheistic worship from early times. Some scholars even propose rereading a difficult passage in Hosea 14:9, suggesting Yahweh might have proclaimed, "I am his Anaf and his Asherah," indicating that Yahweh himself provided the blessings of fertility, embodying aspects of these goddesses. This is truly groundbreaking.
The story of Asherah forces us to confront a richer, more complex religious history of ancient Israel. It challenges preconceived notions and opens new avenues for understanding the evolution of monotheism. She was not just a foreign deity to be rejected, but a powerful, nurturing presence deeply integrated into the spiritual lives of the ancient Israelites. What do you think about the revelation of Asherah's role? Does it change your understanding of ancient Israelite religion? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this journey into the forgotten divine feminine, please like this video. Subscribe to our channel for more historical explorations and hit the notification bell so you don't miss our next deep dive. Thank you for watching.